Congratulations, we're up to Module 13, Finding a Job, our last module for business communications. So we want to talk about professional skill building. Skills for a career healthcare field, you need professionals with specific acumen, active listening skills, service orientation, oral comprehension abilities, and teamwork skills. So hard skills would be creative abilities that you can learn and master. Soft skills are skills that have changed very little over time. And the number one soft skill that employers look for in applicants and college graduates is the ability to communicate. So some transferable skills. Skills include dependable, punctual, willing to learn, adaptable, committed, honest, ethical, enthusiastic, a team player, strong communication skills. Positive attributes that are invaluable do not need much training. And there's a little video here that shows you the top 10 skills you need to get a job once you graduate. So acquiring necessary skills, you need to learn how to write clearly, which is why you're here, learn how to speak, be reachable, learn about computers, build community relationships, attend conferences and events. I went to a conference this morning, a webinar. Find projects and get involved, collaborate, keep profiles up to date, keep learning. So get involved in part-time work, extracurricular activities with employment and career development. Have formal learning plan. What are you going to do? Enroll in classes, find an apprenticeship, apply for an internship. What's going to get you the skills that you need to be successful? So the stages of career development. What is career development? It's a lifelong process in which we become aware of, interested in, knowledgeable about, and skilled in a career. The 5 main stages are growing, which lasts from 4 to 13 years, exploring, teenage years to mid-20s, establishing, mid-20s to mid-40s, maintaining from mid-40s to mid-60s, and reinventing mid-60s into retirement. So the stages of career development: career support, career development office on campus. We have books on career development, career roadmap, know yourself, explore options, gain knowledge, put it all together, internet sites for career planning, as well as paid agencies. Now, normally when you work with a headhunter to help you find a job, the company pays the fee. Be careful of ones that ask you to pay up front. They're usually not good examples of headhunters, and they're not very helpful. Okay, I used to work with a guy who was an intern at the company I worked at, and he wanted to work for one of the big 5 accounting firms. He was a smart guy, but he wasn't, he didn't have the best grades. But he made a roadmap of how he was going to get there, and the first was by socializing. He went to the bars that people who worked at this company went to, made friends, and you know what? He got the job. So networking, next segue there, is not always what you know, it's who you know. I'm sure you've heard that expression, and it's very true. If it comes down to 2 candidates, and one person is totally unknown to me and the other person is friends of an employee that's at least halfway decent, I'm going to go for the unknown entity. I'm not going to go for the unknown entity. I'm going to go to one that I have the most information about, and that's the one that had the friend. So some strategies for networking: the process in which people build relationships with one another for the purpose of helping achieve professional goals. Share business cards, resumes, cover letters, as well as share information about conferences, special events, and even soliciting headhunters. It can occur anywhere at any time and expands with each new relationship you establish. So, how to get started? Remember that hope is not a plan. Keenly focus your activities on getting a paid job. You need business cards. You need to register your own domain name, attend networking events, master LinkedIn. Think about parents, friends, create a world that you want to live in. Sources for developing these professional networks: meetup groups, social media, conferences, internships, websites, family members, advisors, alumni association, vendors, co-workers, networking. There's service organizations as well where you can meet a lot of business people that way. So how do we get the job? We start with a resume and a cover letter. So the purpose of resumes, it's an inventory of your education, your work experience, your job-related skills, accomplishments, and more. Some elements of a successful resume are reverse chronological resume, which means it starts with my most current job first, the job I'm currently working, and you work backwards. The same with your education. There's also functional resumes that focus more on skills. Headhunters have told me they do prefer chronological resumes because they show growth, where a functional resume focuses more on the skills that you've achieved. Hybrid's kind of in between the two. There can be video, infographic, and website resumes. I've seen a few of them that are kind of interesting. A former vice president of academic affairs here at the college was applying to be a president at another university, and he had a video resume, and I thought it was very interesting. So how do you write an effective resume? Well, to begin with, put the best experiences together. The order may change depending where you are in your career. For example, when I first started teaching, my ticket in was that I had done some training, but it wasn't really as strong as having my MBA. So my education was first, and that was my experience that was listed first. And then as I taught a few classes, then my experiences became more important. The purpose is not to get a job, but to get to the next level in the screening process, to the interview stage. You want to get to the interview stage. Dig in deeper to provide your work experience, volunteer experience, and educational training. Creating a customized resume, you and your contact information should include your name, your phone number, email, and address. I have had a couple applicants who gave me the wrong phone number. If you can't get your phone number right on your resume, I'm not going to hire you. Just not going to do it. You're not paying attention to details that are extremely important. You may have a skills or career summary, 6 to 8 specific skills with short paragraphs, phrases. Work experience, you want to list the jobs that are most relevant that you should you describe, not the job. Should describe you, not the job. Education, where you went to college or university, your major, and then any certifications, even software programs that you know. For example, Office, if you know Access, it's a good thing to say that you do, because that's a skill that a lot of employers are looking for, as well as volunteer work. Writing effective cover letters. The cover letter goes with your resume, and it's a letter of introduction that you attach to it. It introduces yourself and explains why you are suitable for the job. Characteristics, you want to gain the attention of the employer. You want to set you apart from the competition. Identify the position you are interested in. A lot of people just say, I want to work for your company. No, be specific. List the actual job. You may have to send out more resumes that way and cover letters, but it's very important that it talks specifically about this job if you want it. Specify how you learned about the position. I'm a friend of Mark in the mailroom. I've known him for years. He told me about the position. Present highlights of skills and accomplishments. It should please the eye and the ear. Remember, this is your first impression until they meet you in person, so you want it to be a good one. It should reflect genuine interest. We've got another lecture video specifically on the resume and cover letter that we'll look at after this. Interviewing. So we wrote a great resume. We got the interview. So there's some things we have to do to prepare. First, we want to review the job description. Make sure you know what the job is. If I ask you in the interview, what do you think of the job? Can you tell me, what ideas you have about it? I don't know is not a good answer. Research the company or organization. Tell me what you know about this company. You make stuff. Not a good answer. Practice answering common questions. Students hate to do this, but I always suggest sit in front of a mirror and look at yourself answering questions. It's an eye-opening experience, so keep that in mind. Plan to dress appropriately. They say you should dress up one level, so if you'd wear jeans to work, you would wear business casual to the interview. If you'd wear business casual for work, you'd wear business dress like a suit for that. Come prepared. I always took copies of my resume along with copies of my list of references with me. I also prepared questions that I had about their company. I always made sure I had at least 1 to 3 questions. And the job I had before I came to work here at the college, I was working on my MBA at the moment and was trying to justify all the money I spent on it. And I asked my interviewer, I said, "Is that why you hired me, because of my MBA?" And she said, "No, it was because you came with a list of questions. You cared about the interview enough before you walked through the door to take the time to do that, and that's what I wanted in an employee." So just think about that. Okay, different types of techniques. There's screening interviews take place over the phone where the interviewer has maximum control over the length. Disney does this for their internships. They meet if you make it to the interview stage. You have a web-based interview and then you have a screening interview. Phone or web conference interviews, make sure the equipment works beforehand. Be fully prepared. Do a mock run with your friend to troubleshoot any issues. You don't want to be saying I can't connect for some reason. It may be inevitable, internet goes out, but you want to minimize the chance of that happening. One-on-one interviews is most common in person, but I have to say I have been interviewed by multiple groups of people many times. For example, when I applied here at the college, I was interviewed by 5 people. Lunch interviews, serial interviews, we might have group and one-on-one combination. The company I worked for before this, my first interview was with the supervisor. The second interview was with her manager. The third interview was with my peers, so there were 3 people in on that interview. So could be a combination. Lunch interviews, unstructured and informal. I personally don't like a lunch function because you never want to talk with your mouth full and it can make awkward quiet times. If you can avoid a lunch interview, avoid it. Group interviews, several interviewees and only 1 to 2 interviewers. Now, I participated in an interview where I was 1 of 5 as well. So what are some questions? Prepare as much as possible by doing research and listing examples of the actions you're proud of. Review common questions. Tell me about yourself. Everyone hates that question, but you know you're going to be asked it, so you've got to be prepared for it. Why are you interested in this position? How has your education prepared you for this? What would you most like to accomplish in this position? What type of people do you have little patience for? F-O-R, not F-O-R-E. Describe the time that you worked as part of a team or a success story that you're proud of. So a quick review here, get advice from a school counselor center on where to begin. Begin networking, build your network now, attend job fairs, alumni gatherings. Alumni gatherings are a great way to meet people because people want to help younger graduates of their institution. Could be luncheons. Helps think about specific employers and job skills. Find jobs that you're interested in and reach out. Phone interviews, look for job openings and prepare and write a resume and a cover letter. Even if you think, you've applied for a job, they call you for an interview and you thought, you know what, I really don't want to work there. It's not a bad idea to go through the interview and maybe later just, don't accept the position if you get it, because the thing about interviews is you don't do it unless you're looking for a job. So if you're good at it, you don't get a lot of practice at it at all. If you're bad at it, you may never improve. So experience helps. Tweak and change the wording according to the job variation. Practice interviewing beforehand. Sit in front of the mirror. I tell you, it helps. It's the hardest step, but you will feel accomplished when you get the job.